If you're feeling disconnected from a career you genuinely love, how do you know if you're going through a rough patch or if you should actually quit? I'm Laura Sims. I help people choose and start the right meaningful career, even if they've been trying to figure it out for years. This video is not going to be 5 steps to know if you should quit your career. I really want to tell my personal story. I want to trust that you will find the instruction you need within the story and that it will help you get closer to the truth of what is going on with you. If you're a creative, if you're an artist, a filmmaker, a musician, a dancer, if you have started a career based on a craft that you really, really love and you're not sure if you should stick with it. If you're a social worker, a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, you got into something because you really wanted to change the world and you're not sure if you should stay. If you got into some other kind of career that you love, math, science, engineering, something that you've been really passionate about and devoted to and really loved, and you're not sure if you should move on or not, this one's for you. I thought it would be fun to stay true to my training and tell this story in 3 acts. So I would call the first act Love's Labor's Lost. I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm the daughter of an attorney and an artist. I had loved acting as a child. It's something that I did in elementary school on through up high school. It's just not something that I ever considered as a profession. People from Knoxville, Tennessee don't go off and become actors, so it didn't seem realistic. It was not on my radar. But eventually I found my way there. I went to college, I got a history degree, not knowing what else to do. When it got close to graduation, I was like, well, I don't want to go to law school. I don't want to work in a museum. I don't want to teach history. What I really want to do is acting. So I got myself to an audition. I got my first job, and then I was off. I moved from job to job to job. I would put my pet rabbit in my car and just drive from state to state wherever I had a job at the time. Eventually, I found my way to graduate school to get my MFA in acting from UC Irvine. I really wanted to get better at the craft. From that experience, I ended up getting a manager, moving up to Los Angeles, and starting my career. I was doing it. I was committed. I was devoted. I did the networking. I did the hustling. I pounded the pavement and I pounded it with joy. I was all in. And acting was such a big part of my life. It was really where I got a sense of identity. You know, I'm an actor. It's where I got community. These are my friends. It's how I met my husband. My marriage came to me from being an actor. And I went and I went and I went and I booked things. You know, I had voiceover jobs. I had some television jobs. I continued to do some stage acting. In some way, I was making it. I was becoming a working actor. So what went wrong? I slowly started falling out of love with being an actor. And at first it was small things. You know, I'd have to drive to Burbank for an audition and I would just feel this dread and resentment come up. Ooh, got to get ready for an audition. I have to do my hair and makeup to the point where I look like I just stepped off a magazine cover. Resentment, dread. I really knew I was in trouble when one day I got a call from my manager and I saw the number on my phone and I felt dread. Old Laura, who was just bursting at the seams to be in Los Angeles and be an actor, she just would have jumped up and down. She would have done anything to have a manager call her on the phone with an audition, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want the audition anymore. So those things started to pile up. Also, the sacrifices I was making for my career really started to feel sacrificial. I saw my family maybe twice a year and I had to put the travel on a credit card. I was missing weddings, funerals. I had to miss my only sibling's high school graduation. You know, there was a combination of not being able to afford it and then just feeling like I couldn't leave LA because the minute you leave, an opportunity comes and then you've missed the opportunity you've been waiting months for. And I was just so tired of being broke. I remember a conversation with my husband. We had this little, kind of dining table from IKEA. And I really wanted to get a tablecloth to put on the table. And we just went round and round of, can we afford to splurge on a $16 tablecloth from Ross for less? And the answer was no, we could not. And I was really tired of feeling like that. So I started asking myself, is it that I don't want to go to Burbank? Is it that I don't want to do my hair? Or is it that I don't want all of this? And even asking the question felt like a betrayal. Because again, I've made sacrifices. I've moved away from my family. I've gone into debt for my education and to start this career. How could I even think about giving that up? You know, I had been doing this for not quite a decade, but getting on and just asking this question of, is this what I want, felt devastating. That I would question my path, that I would question my commitment, that I would question that identity. And then another question came up because, again, I was starting to see a little bit of success. And I thought, let me imagine the best case scenario where I get what I want in this career. If I achieved my goal, do I really want it? Do I want the life that it would get me? Does it matter enough to me to make all the sacrifices that it would take to get to that point? And the answer that came back was, I don't know. And for me, a real turning point was I had just spent a day on set. I was working as a co-star in a television show, had an amazing day, had my own trailer, got to do a scene with, one of the series regulars, had great rapport with the director, sat with everybody at the lunch table, craft services, just had an amazing day. Felt like I really showed up and did a good job. So end of the day, I get out of costume. I still have like makeup and everything on, and I'm walking back to my car. And what starts going through my head was, did how I spend my day make anyone's life better? Did it make my life better? And here comes the answer. I don't know. So that was the biggest turning point for me because yes, the lifestyle stuff had been adding up. Can't see my family, tired of feeling broke, tired of driving to Burbank. But the real kicker was this crisis of meaning. Does this matter enough anymore? Because for a long time, it had. This is going to sound so dramatic if you've never experienced this, but if you are going through it or you have experienced this, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It felt like someone had died. It felt like a part of me was dying. It just felt so bewildering and like such a big betrayal that this thing that had been a given, a constant, a guarantee in my life was eroding before my eyes. It was heartbreaking. And I really isolated. I didn't want to tell my acting friends, hey, I don't think this is for me. I didn't want word to get out that I was going to be a quitter. I just kept it to myself. And I really, really worried. Here are some of the fears that I had. I'll never be able to find anything that I love as much as this. I'm going to be doing soul-sucking admin work for the rest of my life. I'm never going to make enough money to feel secure or to have a child. I'm going to be miserable forever. I don't know what else I'll do. Without acting, who will I be? And I just kept asking myself questions like, do I really want this? Will it make anyone's life better? Will it make my life better? Do I even want the successful version of this? Is this going to give me the kind of life I want? And my promise to myself during this time was endure the asking of the question and try to give an honest answer. And the honest answer kept coming back, I don't know. And I want to tell you, I didn't have a lightning bolt moment. I did not, have this dramatic knowing. It was this slow erosion of, I don't know, eventually turned into, I don't want this. And it was this undeniable, horrifying, hideous truth. I don't want to do this anymore. Part 2, the Tempest, aka now what? I've decided the old world is no longer for me, but I have no new world to enter into. I'm just in career purgatory. No idea what comes next. No idea how to figure it out. Please recall that I've been an actor for the past decade. I have an acting resume. My real person resume is like restaurant jobs and temp jobs, none of which have lasted longer than a few months at a time. Who's going to give me a reference? What am I going to put on this real world resume? I got a history degree and an MFA in acting. What do I do with that? So what do you do when you don't know what to do with your life? I'll tell you what I did. I went right to Craigslist. I would just scroll Craigslist and I'll go look in the education section and then I'll go look in the admin section and then back to education, then to part-time, then to admin. I'm just like trying to figure out what am I doing with my life by looking around Craigslist. So let me save you the trouble. Don't do that. It's incredibly depressing because what I would find is, there's a post, it'd be like, you must love phones and multitasking. Must love, be okay with difficult personalities, high stress, and minimum wage. No, I'm not okay with that. I know I don't have a tablecloth to my name, but this cannot be my future. I can do something like this in the short term just to make some money, but this can't be my life. I've gone from this career that I loved it for while it worked, was really fulfilling. And I can't just go literally phone it in somewhere for the rest of my career. When Craigslist couldn't tell me what I should do with my life, I went back to what had worked before, which was following my passion. I thought, okay, what else am I passionate about? Maybe I can become a teacher. Tried it. Nope. Maybe I can become a web designer. Tried it. Nope. So then I really had nothing left. I thought, here we go. It is going to be minimum wage admin work forever. So I get myself back to Craigslist. I get myself into therapy. I am reading all the career change books. I am buying every Oprah magazine that promises to help me find my North Star. I'm just doing everything I can think to do, and nothing worked. Okay, but here comes my lightning bolt moment, because I did have one, and it's here in Act 2. I was sitting in our little one-bedroom guest house in Los Angeles, and after months and months and months of Oprah magazine and therapy and trying to figure it out, I sat down at my desk with a blank sheet of paper and drew like a big plus sign on it. And in 3 of the categories, I wrote down the things that had been really meaningful for me. There's 3 different sections. I wrote acting, I wrote teaching, I wrote web design. And I thought, what is it about these things? And what do these things have in common? And I really started to excavate these places that had been meaningful for me, to get below the action, the activity, the subject matter, and figure out what was it about this that made me tick. And I did have this moment where this phrase flashed across my mind was, what if it's less about what you do and more about why you do it? And that shifted something for me. Looking at that sheet of paper, I thought, I don't know what it is yet, but I'm on to something, and I'm going to be okay. I am going to figure this out. I've got to look at the drivers of why I work, not just the activities of what I love. And that was the aha moment that changed everything for me. Again, I didn't have an instant download of what the new thing would be, but I had an idea of how to figure it out. That shift from what if it's less about what you do and more about why you do it, that remains the foundation of what I teach clients today. That blank sheet of paper with the big plus sign on it, every single one of my clients does that exercise as part of our work together, starting to figure out the why. Act 3, all's well that ends well. So I've had this aha moment, but I don't know the answer yet, but I think I know how I'm going to start to figure it out. And I just start piecing things together. I know my drivers. I know what makes work matter for me. I have a sense of what I want work to do for me and what I want my work to do for the world. And eventually I know I'm going to be doing some kind of coaching or consulting. I'm going to be working directly with people. I started working with creatives, helping them on their careers, but I knew I had a starting point. I was not ready to quit acting yet. Financially, I wasn't ready to quit, but also identity-wise, I wasn't ready to make some big announcement that I'm changing things up. So I just kind of gradually made some changes. I stopped introducing myself as an actor and started introducing myself as a coach. It felt so awkward to have one foot in, one foot out. Do I say I'm an actor? Do I say I'm a coach? I felt like a fraud at both. But the more I worked with people, the more comfortable I started getting in my new role and in my new identity. And about a year into starting the business, I really was able to choose my niche, to really say, I want to work with people who had been in the same situation as me, who want to figure out what is the right, meaningful career for them. I've been through it. Now can I find a way to teach it? Because my method, again, had been like, cry for 2 years and wander around and try a lot of stuff that didn't work. Can I create a process? Can I create a repeatable framework that's going to allow people to answer this question with ease? When I was in my career crisis, my prayer at the time was, if someone can just tell me what to do or how to figure out, I know I can go do it. I know I can go make something happen. How do I figure it out? So I wanted to be the person that could help people figure it out. That's what I've been doing for the past 13 years. Now that I'm here, 13 years in on the other side of things, I just want to say, if you are still in your own Act 1, If you are in the middle of your act 2, it's really nice over here. It's really nice over here. All those fears that I've had, psht, I'm financially secure. I was able to afford a child. I have found something that I love doing that feels like I get to have the kind of life that I want. All those fears have evaporated off as I have gotten into my meaningful work. So you don't need to be like me. You don't need to want what I want, but you can use a process to figure out what is going to be right for you. There is life after whatever you are feeling stuck in right now, and it can even be more wonderful than you can even imagine today. If you too have tried all the things and looked to the internet to tell you what to do with your life, and tried therapy and tried magazines and tried podcasts and tried all the books, and it hasn't worked for you, I really urge you to come take a look at my free training. It is the thing that worked for me that has been working for my clients when all the other stuff has failed. So that's it. Curtain call on my story, but maybe this can be part of your homecoming story. I will see you in the free training. Guarantee you're going to learn something new about how to choose the meaningful work that's right for you.